After nearly 2 years of on-again, off-again border closures and restrictions, Queensland has finally reopened to the rest of the country. There were emotional scenes at airports across the state as people from COVID hotspots were welcomed into the Sunshine State. We have reporters live from the Gold Coast, Brisbane Airport and in Townsville, and we'll cross to them shortly. But first, to those for whom this day could not come soon enough, Alison Horn begins our coverage.
Joy and jubilation as months of forced separation finally comes to an end. The emotion raw and overwhelming for this woman meeting her grandchild for the first time.
It's just the most amazing thing, I can't tell you. I just been longing for this day for 6 weeks.
Millions of Australians in COVID hotspots who've been locked out are now allowed back to the Sunshine State, reuniting friends and families.
I'm just absolutely thrilled. I have not felt this excited, I think, since the day that he was born.
It's the best. It's what life is all about, is family and friends, and to be home in Australia is just unbelievable.
At 1 a.m, Fortress Queensland opened her borders. Drivers streamed in through the dead of night, eager to finally cross over.
I'm a bit relieved now, but it's 3 o'clock in the morning, so you sort of can't get too excited, can you?
From the Gold Coast to regional crossings, more than 20,000 people had registered for a border pass. Authorities are making no apologies for keeping parts of Australia and COVID locked out for so long.
Today's a happy day. Today's a great day.
But the joy is tinged with trepidation as Queensland braces for its first real incursion of COVID cases in the community, brought north by visitors from COVID hotspots.
It's inevitable that the case numbers will increase. How many we will see and when this will occur is still unclear.
With the border now open, there'll soon be another major change to Queensland's COVID response, the vaccine mandate that starts this Friday, where anybody aged 16 and over who's unvaccinated will be banned from hospitality, entertainment, sporting and even some health venues.
Families want to know that they can go into a cafe or a restaurant with their families in the lead up to Christmas and after Christmas, knowing that everyone in that restaurant or cafe is fully vaccinated.
Restrictions still apply for international arrivals, who will be forced into 14 days hotel quarantine until the state hits its 90% double vaccination target. That's not expected until early next year, though some are still hoping for a Christmas miracle. Alison Horn, ABC News, Brisbane.
And so welcome home to any Queenslanders just back, or maybe your loved ones are on their way. Best they know the rules of entry. You need to apply for and receive a Queensland entry pass. It'll get emailed. If you're driving in, put it on your passenger side visor, dashboard or screen. You also need to be fully vaccinated, get a negative PCR test, not the rapid antigen ones, in the 72 hours before arriving, and get another test on your 5th day here. That's it. No quarantine required. There are now no limits for the vaccinated on outdoor gatherings, but 100 is the limit at your home. And everyone now has to use the government's check-in app when you're out and about and upload your vaccination certificate, because some businesses will ask you to prove you're double jabbed. Masks are optional except at the airport, on a domestic flight, or if you're in a lockdown area, which we don't have any of at the moment. Authorities are expecting COVID to spread, so if you get a positive test, isolate and follow the public health directions. Now to the border itself, where we were warned of long delays at the Gold Coast crossing. Reporter Tara Cassidy is at Coolangatta. Tara, was it as bad as authorities expected?
Well, while we've been standing here, cars have continued to flow through, and this has been going on all day. People have been here since 1 a.m. lining up to enter into Queensland, and Just given the sheer number of people that have been wanting to come into the state, police were anticipating that there would be long delays, but luckily we've heard that hasn't been the case. The most anyone's had to wait has been about an hour, and that's now reduced to around 10 to 20 minutes. Police were also saying that around 23,500 people have so far applied for that Qld Border pass, which is for people coming in from those interstate hotspots, and around 50,000 people are expected to come across the border over coming days. But Police Commissioner Katarina Carroll said unfortunately some people have had to be turned around at the border because they haven't carried the correct passes or any at all.
You must have a pass coming into Queensland. Whilst we have been pulling those people aside and assisting them, it obviously takes so much longer than when we have to do that.
Now, tens of thousands more people are expected to cross the border over the rest of the week, but if anything's to go by, hopefully not long delays for them, but people are just urged to make sure they've got the right pass so they can come home and visit family and friends.
Yeah, very important. Thanks, Tara. Tara Cassidy there on the Gold Coast. Now to Jessica Rendell at Brisbane Airport, which has just come alive in the past 24 hours. Jess, must be buzzing there tonight.
It definitely is, Matt. You can just feel the excitement in the air, and it's been like that for almost the entire day today. Now, a flight from Sydney has actually just landed behind me. There are some police officers checking border passes, but those reunions are well and truly on. There's been hugging, kissing, crying, everything. As you can imagine, people are very excited to see their loved ones again. We've had about 43 flights into Brisbane today, and that's expected to double over the next few days and as this week goes on, with more and more people returning to the Sunshine State.
And Jess, authorities have warned open borders will bring COVID. There was one new case recorded in the community in the past 24 hours. What do we know about this case?
That's right, Matt. So we know that there was a man on the Sunshine Coast. He could have acquired the virus in northern New South Wales, and he's been infectious in the community from the 8th of December to the 12th of December. Now, not much is known about his movements just yet, but authorities believe that he hasn't had that much contact with the public. So far, so good. Hopefully it stays that way for all of those Christmas reunions.
Indeed. Thank you, Jess. Jess Rendell at the airport. The unprecedented border controls have separated many and caused significant hardship, even leaving some homeless. Now there's a sense of hope, as George Roberts reports.
Arriving home to the Gold Coast, Peter Dance seems happy to be home after more than a year stuck interstate.
We're from Queensland and we travelled down to Sydney to help our daughter and son-in-law paint their house in August last year and haven't been home since.
He's looking forward to enjoying Queensland.
Just coming back, it's going to be exciting walking on the beach.
Carolyn O'Connor's reunited with her grandchildren.
Unbelievable, really unbelievable.
A 6-month-long wait finally over.
I actually didn't believe it until I came through.
In Brisbane, Kath Underhill's welcoming her son home from Europe.
Oh my God, I'm so nervous. I'm nervous, but goosebumps.
After missing his wedding in September.
We're now welcoming them home after 5 years, so we're so excited.
At last, a family reunited, a time to embrace. The blocked border left some people, like Ipswich woman Vicky Hutchins, homeless.
Living right here in my car. This is how I have been living for 5 months, everywhere and anywhere that I can pull up.
Stranded in northern New South Wales, she can finally come home.
This has been inhumane.
She's not alone.
I never thought in my life I would be a prisoner in my own country and I wouldn't be allowed to go home.
For Ron Atkins, an early morning checkpoint ended months of waiting.
Trying to get across the border from excitement and desperation. And we've been waiting for 3 months to get across, and we're over it.
For the Atkins family, it was just bad timing.
Yeah, we're relocating here, and we sold the house just before the Premier closed the borders, so we've been sort of homeless for 3 months.
For border communities cut in half, there have been daily frustrations. Caroline Bellinger's house is in New South Wales. Her driveway opens into Queensland.
So the invisible borderline runs along the gutter here. The street is actually Queensland, and that goes right along the gutter here up Binya Avenue. Once you get inside the gate, it's New South Wales.
It causes all sorts of problems.
You know, in the back of your mind, you're living in the stress that you're going to get fined. So just any time you go out the gate, you're living in this fear of the unknown of what you're allowed to do.
That has now ended.
Main things is that I can legally come out and go for a walk and a run, by myself even.
Simple freedoms no longer taken for granted. George Roberts, ABC News.
Tourism operators across the state have been hurting badly because of border closures. Reporter Chloe Schmicki joins me now from Townsville. Chloe, how's the reopening being felt there?
Good evening, Matt. Well, it's certainly welcome those travellers from New South Wales, Victoria and the ACT. Very welcome tourism operators, very glad to have them back in the state because it has been such a difficult few months for the sector and particularly missing out on that winter tourism season. It's not expected to have an immediate effect, but from the weekend and next week, operators in areas such as Cairns, Townsville and the Whitsundays expect major increases in their occupation and visitation rates. So it's really positive in the lead up to Christmas and New Year's after a really dire few months.
Yeah, and Chloe, we've heard in the past about COVID complacency in regional areas. What impact is this likely to have when the vaccination mandate comes into effect on Friday?
That's right. There are lags between regional vaccination rates and those that you see in Brisbane. So it is concerning for businesses who are preparing for that mandate to come into effect on Friday. Police Commissioner Katarina Carroll spoke about this today, how police will be making sure businesses comply, but also supporting businesses dealing with non-compliant patrons.
We already have a sense that there are some businesses that won't comply, so we're all geared up for that. But anyone who treats staff disrespectfully, police will be called and they will be dealt with.
So now with the borders open again, the focus shifts to Friday when that mandate comes into effect.
All right, Chloe, thank you. Chloe Schmicki in Townsville.